Hi guys, for third video of school stories, this one's going to be my first party. So, quick note on the gameplay, it's a free-fall game, 29-4 I think the final score is. Normally not a big fan of this map, I think it's probably one of the worst maps on the game, so it's quite surprised I managed to pull this gameplay out. But anyway, so for my first party, must have been about 15, 16, I don't know. And it was my friend. Well, I must have been 15 because it's my friend's 16th birthday, and I'm younger than him. And I remember that I was like, really, I don't know, really excited for it. Obviously, it was like the first time that I'd ever been able to get like massively drunk within someone's house. Like we'd been drinking before because like I have friends that are like a little bit older than me that were old enough to like get alcohol. So sometimes like we'd normally go play football on a Friday or whatnot, and then get like a couple of beers afterwards, because my parents are quite lenient towards like alcohol as long as I'm sensible. But this is the first time that I'd ever like gone specifically to a party to get drunk, and I remember that my mum had like, you see one of those big bottles of vodka in the cupboard, and it was like there was like a quarter gone, and I asked her if I could take it. And she said, yeah, as long as you're going to share it. And of course, I was like, yeah, I'll share it. But in my heart, I was like, yeah, this is my first party. I want it completely smashed and whatnot. So I took that, and I remember rocking up there thinking, yeah, this is gonna be great. And I turned up with about, I don't know, there's about 5 of us, and we turned up, I don't know, the party started like, I don't know, 8ish, but obviously no one gets there at like 8. Even to this day, the party started at like 8, and I was there, but we got there about 9. Even though he was like one of my best friends, because you don't want to be one of the first people there. And we started drinking like immediately, obviously. And it took me, I don't know, I want to say like 2 hours to finish that bottle, which sounds like quite a long time, but I think the bottle was a litre, maybe, and there was maybe like 700. There was like 0.7 of a litre left. So I don't, to be honest, I don't understand how I'm not dead, if I'm being honest. Like, there was so much. I don't think I even finished it, to be honest. I think I maybe drank 3/4 of what was left, and I started feeling sick. So, but I was like, oh, well, I don't want to slow up. I don't want to look like a right dickhead. So I started drinking beer. So I mixed my drink, which made me feel like 10 times worse. So I was like, no, alright, I'm going to stop drinking. And this was about maybe 11 o'clock. I don't know, maybe 11, half 11. And then this is when you know you're really, really drunk. Like, one of my friends was like, oh, I've got a great idea. Why don't we roll up a tea bag and see if we can smoke it? And, well, for some reason, I have no idea why, I was like, yeah, why not? I was like so drunk at this point. And it was the most disgusting thing ever, surprisingly enough. To this day, I have absolutely no idea why I did it. Absolutely no idea. It was disgusting, and that sent me over the edge. Like, well, we were in the garden, and I took one step in the house, and I was like, no, alright, I'm gonna be sick. And I sprinted upstairs, and there was a kid called Grant I was banging on the door, and like, oh, let me into the toilet, And there was a kid I know called Grant in there, and he was like, alright, yeah, 1 minute. And I was like, no, you need to come out right now, or I'm gonna like be sick. And he was like, oh, fuck off, man, just wait. And I was the only one upstairs, apart from his little sister, because his little sister she was like 12, so she wasn't allowed downstairs at the party. She was in her room, and I threw up all over the landing. It was disgusting. It was fucking vile. And at that point, his dad came up, and it was like, alright, I think it's time you leave. And I remember being like really apologetic about it. I was like, oh, I'm sorry, man, I'm sorry. And then my friend whose party was came in the corner and went, and it was just like, just go. And I apologized, like, I walked out, and it was ridiculous. And it was like all down my shirt, all over the landing. It was disgusting. And I remember that I lived like 20 minutes away. And when was his party? His party was in like January. His party was in January, but I was like covered in sick. So I took my shirt off, and I walked home without a shirt on in January at like 2 o'clock in the morning. So as you can imagine, by the time I got home, I was like freezing cold, like drunk, staggering all over the place. So it wasn't particularly great. And I come in, and there's a dog's bed like right next to my front door, because that's where my dog sleeps, obviously. And I came in, and my shoes were covered in mud because I took like a shortcut on the way home across a field. I think I must have fallen over in the field or something because my jeans were covered in mud. But as I was taking my shoes off, I managed to fall in the dog's bed. And not just so I fell in the dog's bed, that's not bad enough. I fell on the dog, and the dog then proceeded to wake everybody in the house up, which kind of brought to the attention the fact that I was covered in mud, covered in sick, obviously pissed out of my head. So they weren't my parents and my brother and 2 sisters weren't best impressed with that, being woken up at about 1 o'clock in the morning. And I got up the next day. No, I didn't even get up the next day. I went to sleep. Well, I went to bed, closed my eyes, and I just felt the whole world was spinning. So I must have sat there for like an hour or 2 without being able to sleep. Just like sat there with my eyes open, thinking, "Oh my God, I'll never." And it said those famous last words of "I'm never drinking again." And I must have got up 2 or 3 times in the night to be sick again. And I got up the next day with like a terrible, terrible hangover. I didn't get much sympathy from anybody because I'd woken them all up. But I had to go back to Then the next day, even more embarrassingly, because I'd left almost like I left my bag, I'd left my jumper at my friend's house because I'd left in such a rush that I had to go back there and face his parents and ask for my stuff back. And yeah, that's a little bit embarrassing. I'm still friends with the guy to this day, and every time I walked into his friend's house, my friend's house before we went to my leaver's prom, and his mum was still making jokes about it. But anyway, if you enjoyed, please like, subscribe, and I thank you. Goodbye.